Hi, everybody. This is Lori, and I am the founder and CEO of Inclusivity, and we are all about justice, kindness, and sustainable fashion. And today, this is our podcast, Inclusivi-TALKS, and today I'm incredibly lucky to be talking to Mary and her granddaughter, Arielle. And Mary, I am so concerned about mispronouncing your last name that I'm going to let you tell everyone. Mary has been in the fashion industry for many, many years, is actually coming out with a book that is all about her experiences in the fashion industry. And her granddaughter is an artist who's been actually creating a piece for our new panels with our new panel design, and is just joining us to chat about her life as well. So welcome, Arielle and Mary.
Thank you. Very happy to be with you, and we're very excited about all that you're doing for the COVID recovery, and also all that you're doing for all of the artists there who really, need and desire to share the love of what they do with others. So thank you for that, Lori.
Thank you so much for being here. So I want to say
this is Giuseppe.
Giuseppe?
Giuseppe.
And my last name Lopez.
Yes.
Lopez? Okay. Giuseppe and Lopez. Well, thank you both for being here. And I just want to start by saying, first of all, Mary, I want to ask you a little bit about how you got to where you are now, because it sounds like you've had a pretty long and extensive career. So I'd like to hear more about that.
Well, I think that, I've always really loved color. I've always loved fashion. My grandmother created couture wedding dresses. And so she had really a cottage industry from the time 1900s. And so I grew up in this incredible, beautiful kind of like oasis of creatives. And so that inspired me, of course, to want to be part of that industry. And so as a little kid, I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be a singer because I was so inspired by Audrey Hepburn, who I later got to meet. How crazy synchronicity, the divine order of things that she asked me to do. I was asked to do a fundraiser for her for UNICEF before she passed. So we actually spent time together, which was over the moon. But, I wanted to talk about incredible and just gorgeous style. Miss Hepburn is among the best. And so I decided I was going to be a model because that would be a great platform. And everyone I asked, I was like, do you know Eileen Ford? Do you know Eileen Ford? And everybody, of course, said no. Until one day, my parents invited a friend to dinner at the house. And I, of course, said, do you know Eileen Ford? I want to be a model. And he said, yes. And of course, my parents had said this, like they had done their due diligence on this. So before I knew it, I was in New York, and I started working with Eileen Ford when I was 11 years old.
Wow.
I started modeling for her then. And then it was a tough career for an 11-year-old, and I had to, lose 25 pounds, and Twiggy was in, and it's a whole, thing. Yeah. And so, I took some time off from that, and then I pursued a singing and acting career, and was very lucky, right? Got to sing in Salzburg as a soloist when I was 16, did some Puccini, and it was an amazing thing. And then I lost my voice from nodules, and I wound up a mute. And what can you do as a mute? You can go back to modeling.
And you got it back.
Yes, I did get it back. And so I did that, and I went back with Ford. So on and off, my modeling career spanned, I just went back on camera a year ago.
Okay.
So that is 50 years. Wow. 50 years. And in the meantime, my love for fashion, my understanding of what fashion is, and the great difference between what people see in the industry and what actually happens in the industry. And because there's such a big discrepancy between what people see and who we are as humans, even in the industry, what we look like. Even my own mother didn't recognize me on TV when I was doing fashion television.
Interesting.
And
so tell me about the book. Like, what's the theme? What's the book about? What are you telling us?
That in the past, all these years that I've been working with individuals, my goal in life has always been to bring all the beauty that's on the inside of everyone to the outside. and to celebrate yourself at your highest and best. And at every stage of life, there is a highest and best, and it changes. And so when I started thinking about how can I bring all of the work that I've done all my life in fashion, in beauty, and in inspiration, how can I do that and have that audience be well reached? In addition to personal clients, I said, I'm going to write my chef d'oeuvre, my book. So it's called Undeniably You, the good, the bad, and the fabulous. And what I do is I have realized that, a lot of us show up every day wearing a uniform, so to speak. And that uniform doesn't necessarily represent who we are well. Mm-hmm. And having the great privilege and honor of being in dressing rooms with women for the past 30, 40 years and really seeing them at their best and also understanding where they are at their worst, because we have such a funny relationship with our self-image. Yeah. I created a book that really, demystifies what the industry is a little bit. And in that understanding and clarity of none of us really love everything about how we look. And this is how we appear to be those perfect beings that we're really not. So I share my tips and strategies. A lot of it is art-based on creating that optical illusion for women. I talk about my divine color healing therapy and it's not about auras, it's really about vibration, and what color vibrations can support you, and how that language is nonverbal and communicates to an audience or to a client or to your loved one or to your grandchildren. So by selecting colors that are appropriate in vibration, you can actually create a nonverbal relationship that's beautiful and powerful. And then I talk about body types, and I talk about seasonal dressing, and I do all the things that a lot of people have done. But the most exciting thing is when I realized that we are typed, and of all the books I've read and all the lives that I've lived, especially on camera and on television, people type me too. Mm-hmm. And I was never the person that I wanted to be. Like, I always got selected to be the very feminine, sweet, ultra, I'm tiny. So I never got to wear those big, bold maverick dresses. I always got to wear the pretty princess ballerina, very type things. And so I thought, you know what? Women have the same problem all over the world. They are not able to understand what their archetype is on the inside. Mm-hmm. And they can't translate it then to the outside because society doesn't let them. So I've created 7 archetypal personalities. And then I've created 8 archetypal style personalities. And I have this wonderful formula, and women can go through the book and they can not be limited, but be expanded by following the process of becoming your highest and best self in life and fashion. So that's it.
Well, that's a lot. That's a lot. That is a book packed with things. So I want to ask Arielle a couple questions, if that's okay.
Yes, it is.
Then I want to get back to learning a little bit more about whatever part of the book you want to tell us a little bit more about. So whether it's the color auras or whether it's more the archetypes, I'd like to hear something more specific. But Arielle, I noticed that you're holding something, and I'd like to know what that is.
Oh, I also made this on the same day, which is yesterday.
Okay.
When I made this, what is it again that I painted on?
The panel, the canvas panel.
I made this sunset with white stripes.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. So
yeah.
why'd you make the sunset like that?
Oh, because I wanted to make a fancy way, unique. Well, I don't know how to say it. Unique.
There you go.
Definitely unique.
Of a gate and a sunset. So the white stripes are the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And in the background, it's the ocean with the sunset.
Very nice. So Arielle, how old are you?
I became 9 years old on May 16th.
Well, happy belated birthday. What'd you do for your birthday?
We did Halloween-y kind of stuff.
Oh, very cool. So are you enjoying getting all this time with your grandma?
Yeah, I love being with my grandma.
Yeah, she's awesome. I totally understand why you love being with her. She's a blast. So, Arielle, what do you especially like to do together?
So what I like to do with Nana is I like to especially paint with her.
Awesome. I love it.
What else do we do?
Sometimes I like to sing to her.
What do you sing?
I sing like opera kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Frozen and all the Disney songs, and she has a big voice.
So Arielle, if you, and you're 8, you can choose 50 different careers from now till the time you're done. But what do you think you want to do? Like, what are you interested in?
I'm interested in being a dancer.
Okay.
What else?
I also wanted to be a police officer.
Well, that's a really admirable thing to want to be. You can do a lot of good as a police officer. What makes you want to be a police officer?
That I get to help other people, like, you know how about bank robbing and stuff.
Sure.
Like, the thing is, I like to keep things in order, not like out of shape and stuff. So that's why I want to be a police officer.
To help sort of keep the world organized.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
So how is homeschooling going?
I hate it.
So tell me why. Why do you hate it?
I hate it because I like learning in life, because like it's easier to understand what I'm talking to a robot.
Okay. Is your homeschooling on the computer right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, the thing is, I don't like it because there's another reason. The Wi-Fi on the computers are so bad, so I only call only when it's testing. Like, I don't call unless it's testing. I missed
Okay.
testing call. But
Okay.
but the cool thing, I think, Arielle, is that now that we're using my computer is fast. So, we're in sync, right, honey?
Mm-hmm.
And we get to do fun things, right? So we at least get to do some art and creativity. We planted plants. What else do we do?
So what else we do together is like we usually travel.
We travel together. How about your poetry? I like your poetry.
Oh, I really love poetry.
So Arielle, do you write poetry?
Yes.
Would
So
you-
did Nana.
Would you be willing to share some of your poetry in a little bit?
I could do it now. I have really short poems.
Well, you have to go
Okay.
get the book.
Okay, while you do that, you can chit chat to her.
Okay, we can chit chat for a little while. That'll work for us, won't it?
Absolutely.
So Mary, why don't you tell us a little bit, choose something in the book that you want to expand on a little bit, because I think the book is something that we're going to want to read, because it sounds to me like it is just packed. But what would you like to expand on a little bit right now?
Well, I think that most women, people, men and women, the second book will be for the guys. The first one obviously is for the women. And I think most women struggle with, especially online, buying online, trying to shop online, especially what we've been through the past few months. This stress does not want us down today, is that we see something and we see it on a model, or we see it on television or in a canvas, and we want that. Oh, that dress is going to look great on us. And what happens invariably when we try it on, it doesn't. So why is it that we pick things out that never look right on us? Usually it's because we don't understand the way construction and fit and form are, and we don't understand what our bodies are and how they actually look in a garment. And the book really gives a lot of consideration to discovering who you really are in terms of your shape, in terms of the line of your body, and in terms of what fabric and what prints and patterns and styles of clothing will just naturally work for you. So I really like that aspect of the book. And the other thing, I'm madly in love with the personalities. I laughed the other day because I sent the book, the proof book, to my significant other, who is an accountant. So his fashion sense is not so much, but he was interested. So he read the archetypes and the icons. And he calls me and says, I'm going out on a limb here, but I think I know who you are. And I was like, okay, let's see what he does. And sure enough, he had it pegged immediately. He said, you are the icon, and you are the eternal beauty. And I was like, that's true. Because the characteristics of those personalities, not, again, what's on the outside, but what's on the inside, is what creates those archetypes. So I'm very excited for women to be able to go through it. There's no right or wrong answers, and figure out, who are you?
I like it.
Who are you? Are you an innocent? Are you a maverick? Each one of these women is just fully themselves. Are you,
I can't find it.
You can't find it? All right, I'll look. And so I think that part of the book for most women is going to be the most fun. The first 60 pages.
So
when you figure out who it is.
Have you started thinking about a workshop with women to do this? Because this sounds to me like either a weekend retreat or a workshop.
Absolutely. Years and years ago, I did workshops all around the world, teaching a lot of this.
Yep.
And so, but that first aspect of it wasn't part of it, right? Because I just wrote it,
Right.
but all the rest of it. And I just finally parted with notes from 20 years of women who have written me from all over the world that have participated in these workshops and seminars. And I reread every one of them. It touched my heart. And so, yes, I'm excited. I'm excited to bring workshops and seminars to women. I think, what, not only that, but they get to work with each other.
Yeah.
And to support each other in the process. So it's like, I think I look terrible in black. And the woman next to you is saying, oh my God, no, you look fabulous in black. Why do you think that? So, it's just a really fun way to self-discover.
Yep. So you couldn't find your poems, Arielle, but I wanted to ask you something else. What do you, first of all, at 8, if you had advice for other kids based on the things you've learned, even for younger kids maybe, what would it be? Like, what's something that you think people need to know?
Like, I have sisters, but I want people to know that you always have to be yourself. Like, if one day you're like yourself and people are like, oh, you look ugly in that, and other people are like, oh, you look beautiful in that. Like, more people are saying like, you look pretty in that. But as soon as they change, people would think you look more uglier, but because the other way, that's yourself. Like, you're the self you are. You're born who you are.
And you have to love that, right?
And it sounds, Arielle, like you're saying that no matter what people around you say, you need to have that core belief in yourself.
Yeah, like I used to be always bullied at school, which I really hated.
That's no good at all. That's really hard to handle. I was kind of bullied when I was a kid too, and by my brother actually, but it was really hard to deal with. And I think you're pretty great if you're able to say, boy, that happened, but I'm still okay.
Yeah.
You have a lot going for you. I can tell that you're really creative and just seem like you have a lot of energy and creativity. And really, I can tell you are.
I also really wanted to be a fashion star just like Nana.
Yeah, it's a good goal.
Like, I'll be icon.
So you're practicing already.
Oh, yes.
I don't know where my poems went.
I don't know. We'll have to look. She designs since she was a really little kid. I mean, she was probably 18 months. She was painting designs, fashion designs. I have them in the living room from 18 months, a year, 2 years. And I think, the thing that I love about Arielle and the thing that I love about the children and the children in all of us that remains in all of us till the day we die is that little child, just like Arielle says, has voice. We all have that little voice. And I think that sometimes the world doesn't give the children the opportunity to explore that voice and, and to succeed and to fail, miserably, but find joy in the process of whatever it is, and I think that for Arielle, we have been able to provide that for her. And in my lifetime, my parents were able to provide that for me, to give me that little secret garden.
Yeah.
And so I think that would be our hope, is that everybody takes time to find their secret garden. And I think that this process of what we've all experienced with this kind of COVID-19 thing is, I hope that now we're reopening,
right, that
I hope that we remember the things that we learned and learn to appreciate the time that we had by ourselves, because in our world, we hardly ever get it.
Arielle, if there was one thing that you think your grandma's taught you that's sort of the most important thing or the coolest thing, what would you say it would be?
I would say what she taught me is how to be a good granddaughter.
That's an interesting way to say that.
And how to be a good icon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what does that mean? Tell me what that means to be a good granddaughter or a good icon.
Like, that means to me, like, it really puts my heart together.
I love that.
Not like this, but this.
So it kind of holds your heart together.
Mm-hmm.
Mary, if you were going to say something that you would want, well, first of all, to say to people your granddaughter's age, so sort of a lesson, and then something you tell other aspiring models, people who are sort of going to be in the limelight and looking for that kind of life, what would you say?
Well, I think that the most important, I would say to anyone Arielle's age or any age, is that, always be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Always be true to yourself and figure out, people would say in the industry, I was just having a conversation last night with some people about this, and whether it's the art industry, the modeling industry, the acting, the singing, the dancing, writing, it's very similar. Once you take it from who you are as an artist and then you project that into the world, the people that you meet in the business of fashion, in the business of art, in the business of publishing, are not the same type of people as the ones who are creating the art. And that was a huge lesson for me. It was a huge step up for me to understand that the people that are actually producing and creating and representing me are not artists necessarily. They're business people. So, and business people, what do they want to do? They want to make business. So my advice to any aspiring model or talent is to remember who you are and to be aware of how you play in the real world. Because like I said, I always wanted to wear these big, fabulous, like fantastic gowns that were strong, and they were not putting them on me. They were putting them on 6'1" women with shoulders like this. Mm-hmm. So some of the hardest lessons I've learned and the things that kept me from being successful until I got them was to really understand how I appear from the outside and to make peace with that and do my best with it rather than fight it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. When I finally went back to work in my 40s here in Florida, because I was with my kids, a single mom again, a single mom for the first time, I was done. I couldn't fool around. I had to go make money. Mm-hmm. And so I went to my first I landed my first national TV commercial, and I show up and they put no makeup on me, zero. Now I've been a fashion model, tons of makeup, they put this ugly thing on me, like just this terrible looking white blouse and no makeup at all, no lipstick, nothing. And they said, "You're done." And I said, "Well, that's very funny. I'm 42 years old. Like, I don't understand this." I'm like, no. This is your new brand. The minute we put makeup on you, you start looking like a fashion girl. You're no longer a fashion girl. You're a lifestyle model. And I was like, I wanted to fight it, right? In my inner soul, it was like, no, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. And then I was like, zip it. It changed my entire life. Not only was it easy to be that kind of a model, but once I embraced looking at myself on television with, no affect at all, and to learn that that's how I related to women my age, once that veneer was cracked in a good way, and I embraced that aspect, oh my God, my career went crazy. So as an aspiring talent, you really have to know where your niche and sweet spot is. And instead of fighting against it, move toward it.
Well, and it sounds like you're saying that that shifts over time.
Oh my God,
That
totally.
where you're going to be able to succeed and where your niche is moves
It does.
depending on who you are, how old you are, all of those things.
And where you are and what you want,
Mhm.
you know, like when I was in New York, you know, I was working 12 hours a day
Mhm.
like a dog.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just pound the pavement, you know, we had our beats. And it was really hard work. And I loved it, but it was a job. I mean, I approached this as a job.
Mhm.
And when I was became a single mom, and my kids were in high school, a little younger actually, you know, I couldn't do that. I couldn't fly around the world. So I had to adjust to what I was capable of doing and still be with my kids.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we morph, but it doesn't.
And one
It's
of
not
them,
bad.
like she had 3, but
Oh,
So, do you think that with the pandemic and everybody socially isolating, and I think it's kind of turned out that people who are used to being out with makeup and all of that have actually been posting without. Do you think that that will have a long-term impact? I know that a lot of negative things have come out of this. I am a believer that on the other end of this, we are going to learn lessons and be better than we were before. I believe we're capable of that. I think we're going to work for more equity. I think that we can find ways to actually address the problems that we found and be better. So that is my belief. But I also think that it's possible that one of the positive things is that I feel like celebrities who are generally made up to the hilt before anything, I wonder if that's shifted a little. What do you think?
I hope so. I think that there has been a real, you know, I think we've all faced kind of a come to Jesus meeting, you know what I'm saying? And regardless of what your faith is and who you believe in, it's an expression, but we've all had to sort of have that moment of reckoning with ourselves.
Mhm.
And either we stop doing entirely, which most of us have had to do, but in terms of celebrity appeal, you know, one of the reasons why people are in the entertainment industry is because they need, want, and desire the love and affection they get from their fans. And all of a sudden here they are looking at themselves in the mirror. I mean, it's just, and they don't have their team behind them.
Right.
You know, the makeup and the hair and the wardrobe and the stylist and the phone books and the lighting. And so I think it was really I hope, a very healthy thing
Mhm.
for all of the celebrities to sort of be brave and honest and upfront about showing themselves to the world. And I hope that a lot of them found healing and relief in that, because it's a big weight to always feel like you have to have all that on. And I think hopefully people have embraced that about themselves, that regardless of what label is on your shirt, regardless of, you know, what color your hair is, if your roots are showing, or if, you know, whatever that is for you, that you are still a gorgeous soul, a gorgeous, perfect soul having a human experience. And this has been a huge human experience for us. So yes, I hope so. I think it's been healthy. I do.
Yeah, I think there is something healthy about that as well.
Oh yeah.
So the book, so you finished the book. What else are when I talked to you, and I felt this when I talked to you the other day as well, I just, you have so much going on. So you're so interested and have such a sort of diverse path and interest. So besides the book, which is coming out when?
Well, we delayed the launch because of obvious, when everybody's wearing their pajamas, and you know, I didn't feel that it was an appropriate time to bring a book on fashion. So I think the book will probably launch in July, which is kind of an odd time for fashion to launch, but I kind of feel like that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And so after that, I think that I want to really go around the country and help women. I mean, this is my heart. I think that I want to take the show on the road, so to speak. And I want women, you know, there's nothing more uplifting than to support someone in the process of becoming who they really are. And so my goal is to take the show on the road. I mean, I think, I will continue doing my branding, of course, because it's all the same thing. And I'll continue to do, my next book. I'm going to start my next book as soon as this one is put to bed. And, I have two great artists that have participated in the creation of the illustrations. And so I think there's probably some joint things for us that we're going to do with that. But I want to meet you. I want to meet the women, and I want to be able to create these beautiful communities that can support each other, because I think that's what we need.
So when you start your tour, we'd love to have you in Minneapolis. That would be, I think we could work together and create something pretty spectacular. So.
Thank you so much.
So it's just an invitation. So Arielle, Mary, I'll ask you, how much longer is Arielle in school for this year?
She's coming. She's actually filming us talking.
Oh, excellent.
Producer. How much, what do we have about a week left?
Yeah, we have a week left.
Okay.
We're sliding into home. And then we were supposed to go away this summer, but obviously we're not going anywhere. So I think that we're going to do a lot of painting, a lot of singing, and a lot of crafting, right?
I love that.
Turn that off, please. You can't have two things going on at once. But I think that's what we're doing.
Arielle, I know that you created a panel. I sent you a panel to sort of play around with. This is our new collection that has these panels that can attach to bags and to jackets and to a frame on the wall. I just actually completed the frame that goes on the wall, so that's kind of exciting. But I'd love to see that, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so
you want me to hold it for you?
So about this is it's all about being brave from coronavirus. Everybody's so afraid of it. Nobody has to be afraid. They could just show off their strength. See this? This side is being afraid. This side is being brave. Which side is this symbol? This side. And then if you get the symbol like that, just like that, that means you're saying, be brave.
So what is it, honey? Show what it is.
So it's a heart with the masks with all these colors. Don't think these are eyes; they're just designs. And on the top it says "Be brave."
With the mask on it, it sounds to me like you're saying be brave, but also be smart. Brave doesn't mean you have to do dangerous things or take risks.
Is that correct?
Okay, I like that. So Mary, what?
Lessons from babies. Lessons from babies.
Be brave but safe. I like it a lot. Mary, if you had to name sort of your life philosophy in just a few words, what would you say that your overriding life philosophy is?
I do love. That's it. I do love.
I like that.
That's my life philosophy. I do love. And that's been my calling on my heart from the day I was born. I do love. And I love beauty. And I see that is my life's mission, is to do love and to be love and to share love and to show love, to express that and to give people the space to discover what love is for themselves. So that's kind of my mission. And however it comes out over the years, and God willing, many, many more, that's the overriding thing, is just love. That's the essential value, in my opinion. That's the essential. With enough love, all things are possible. And I think that's what our world needs. Our world needs, how do we express love? And as artists, as moms, as doctors, Indian chiefs, lawyers, firemen, each of those people, I think if asked, they're really just doing love. Or if they're not, they would like to know how they could. So that's sort of my life philosophy.
I like that very much, because I think what you represent is that doing love doesn't have any specific job. It's not, you don't have to go into you don't have to be a nurse or a teacher, although those are exceptional professions, and I love nurses and teachers. So but whatever you're doing, you can do love. And I think that fits in with what Arielle was saying earlier. And basically, Arielle was saying, whatever you're doing, be you.
Yes.
Like yourself, follow yourself and your passions.
Thank
And then you're throwing in, Mary, and do it all with love.
Yeah. Just
And
do it.
whatever you do, you can have that passion and make a difference in people's lives, whatever you choose as your career.
And
I like that.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for articulating it so beautifully for us. And I think that, so that's what allows us to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we can be a volunteer in a room mother on Monday, and a corporate person on Tuesday, or whatever it is, and an artist on Wednesday, and, and a beach lover on Thursday, and a wife, and if you find that consistent passion that you have, and then it just threads through.
Mm-hmm.
So Arielle, I don't know if your grandma told you that we're having a bunch of artists create panels for us.
Yeah, I know that so much. Like, there's a bunch of artists. I understand how a bunch of artists are, like, doing this because, like, more people are trying to do it, just like how I did mine.
Mm-hmm.
They need to paint something so that we could raise the money.
That's exactly it. So we have a bunch of artists. We have artists all the way up to the age of 90.
What?
She lives in Grinnell, Iowa. She's been a professional artist for her entire life. She is 90 years old. Her name's Nisha, and she is spectacular. And she is creating a panel for us as well. So we have 25 artists. I don't know, Arielle, if your mom or if your grandma told you that we also have artists from other countries. We have artists from the Netherlands and from Colombia.
I probably do. There's other artists because, like, I know you live at Minnesota.
Yep.
Like, other people live at different places, and they're doing all of this stuff.
I know.
Like, all of this stuff, like this, like.
Yes, exactly like that.
I am proud of myself for making this.
You should be so proud of yourself for that. And so what we're going to do is that at the end of June, we're going to have an auction online, and you and your grandma can check it out and see all the different paintings. People are going to bid on them and get to take them home. And we're so excited about it.
Well,
I just want to make sure that you all share it with all your friends and everybody you know, so that we get just a lot of people bidding on things, so we can raise a bunch of money.
We are going to do that, aren't we, Arielle? We're going to put it on all of our social media.
Wonderful.
That's a great way for us to share it. Arielle can do a TikTok on it, and we can do Snapchat.
Yeah, I'm a really good TikToker.
She's a good TikToker.
I bet you are a great TikToker. That's, TikToking it. I want to see yours, because then I want to challenge other people to do it. So think of something really fun.
All right. It's too hard to do it in the screen, honey, but we'll do one.
That would be fantastic. And make sure you share it so that we can spread it out there.
And once you have the interview, please
We'll
let us
post it. Yeah.
give us.
And we'll let you know the link. I wanted to ask a couple things to end. First of all, Mary, did I hear that you write poetry as well?
Oh yeah.
Would you be willing to read some poetry for us?
Oh my goodness. I wish I had a copy of my book. It would make my life so easy.
Yeah, she had a poetry book. I seen the cover before. It was her like in this cute hat and black and white. But she gave all the copies.
I gave all my copies.
Sure.
And so, but it was called Femme Fierce, Flashes of Courage. And everybody, was sort of thought, oh my God, Mary, you have a #1 bestseller with Straight Up with the Twist, and now you're going to write poetry? Really? And I'm like, I don't care. Like, this is what I'm doing.
Like, she's a great poetry.
And I was so excited that it went #1. It did. And I was like, not because of this, but because, the message is, I believe that women are courageous in flashes. And then our life's work is to live up to the courageous acts that we do. And so the book is all about, it's a collection of poetry on courageous moments. And if I could find it somewhere, I would read one to you. But since I don't have a copy, I don't know how I can do that, dear. I don't have anything memorized. Nothing is to memory.
it's so hard to memorize things.
Yeah, I used to be able to, and now I just kind of.
So we can take a break for a second if you think you might be able to locate a poem of yours and also of Arielle's.
Yes.
Let's
We
take
can
a
break for a second.
take a 3-minute, 5-minute break, whatever, and I'm going to stop this and then I'll just pick it back up.
Perfect, and we'll go get our stuff.
Perfect. I'm going to pause the
Did
recording.
you forget you're filming?
No, but she can pause it.
I'm going to pause it.
Oh, I love that one. Okay. Can you read it?
All right, we are back, and Arielle, I would love to hear a poem by you.
Okay. Mary's Beach 2020, May 8th. Here is Mary walking along the beach, looking for nice shells that are just right. Ocean crashing on a full moon. Life on here is nice. I love being here, right here. Then Mary walks back to her sand castle. Please take good care of Mary's Beach. Here's the picture.
It. Oh, I like that. Really nice. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
I made it on her birthday.
That's a pretty lovely birthday gift.
Lovely.
Mary, if you could, I know you said you had a video of reading one of your poems. If you could send that to us, we'll just put it out when we put out the podcast so that people can hear it, because we'd really like to.
Thank you. Sorry, it's not at hand, but
not a problem at all. So my last question for both of you, and this is a hard one, so if you have to take a minute to think about it, that's okay. I just want you to think about your lives and think of one story that you can tell us. And before we do that, I have one more question for you, Mary, but think about one story that you can tell us from your life. And it can be a funny story. It can be a story that just feels, when I say tell me a story of your life, it feels like it's yours. It feels like a story that's about you and that represents your life. Mary, before we do that, I just want to hear a little bit more about meeting Katharine Hepburn and how that was, and Audrey Hepburn, and how that was.
You know, it's so weird. And this is why, and maybe this is the story I'll tell. So,
okay.
I could do that. So when I was really little, I was 5 when I became aware of UNICEF, because when I was little, they had little orange boxes. And on Halloween, you trick or treat, and then you handed this, for pennies, right? And I became so impassioned by this concept of being able to raise money for children in Africa in those days, right? In Africa. And I was just all over it. I loved it. I couldn't wait to go out there and ask for donations. And then I found out about this woman, Audrey Hepburn. Mm-hmm. And so then I became a huge fan. She did all these amazing movies. And I realized that she used her acting platform as a way to bring healing to the world. And I immediately decided I was going to become an actress and a performer so that I could bring healing to the world. It was in a 5-minute understanding at 5 years old. I forgot, Arielle, please don't do that. I forgot about that. I forgot about that conversation I had with myself as a child. But I just went ahead and lived my life. So what did I do? I became an actress, and I became a singer, and I volunteered, and I did all kinds of stuff. And, I did all the charity work that I loved. I always did work for abused and abandoned children. That was something that was is still near and dear to my heart. So I spent my entire life, and my parents were both major community healers and wonderful people, healers. And philanthropists. So I modeled my entire life after Audrey Hepburn. And many years later, I'm sitting in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is someplace I never thought I would live in this little 2-bedroom, flat, uninteresting place that I never thought I'd be, and raising my 2 kids with my husband at the time and doing all this charity work. And I had just come home from rocking AIDS babies who were all dying at that time, that were born to addicted mothers with AIDS. And we built a shelter for these babies. And we spent hours and hours a day rocking babies that were dying from AIDS. And I came home, took a shower, because we didn't even know how AIDS was transmitted in those days. And I had my 2 little kids, Gina, Arielle's mom, and David, who's now firefighter paramedic, sitting at the table waiting for dinner. And I said to myself, you know, this is all I've ever wanted to do in my life. I have a family. Here are my beautiful children, you know, my husband, and to work and help people.
Okay.
Because my acting and singing career was cut short because of my vocal problems. So the very next day, I get this letter in the mail. And I open it up, and it says, Audrey Hepburn is coming to South Florida for UNICEF. And because of your outstanding work in the community, would you consider chairing an event for Miss Hepburn? I was like, at that moment, everything in my whole life came in front of my eyes. Like I saw my entire life, and I remembered the story, my little girl story. I remembered the feeling, and everything came full circle. And it was just because I always did what I always thought I should do, regardless of the fact that my platform got taken out from under me. You know, I worked where I could, and that was my dad's message. Work, see your hands, work where you can, your hands touch other hands. So then the whole thing, right? And I worked, and I did this beautiful event for 500 people. I got the whole thing underwritten and da-da-da. Okay, so now it's time to get the tickets. And the expensive tickets were $1,000 each. And there's no way that I was doing that, right? No. So I knew that I was going to be sitting way up in the rafters, but it didn't matter. I was so excited to have this big thing happen, right? Okay. A client of my husband's, who always supported my charity events, always, I mentioned, the minute I opened my mouth to Audrey Hepburn, he said, I'll take 6 of the best seats in the house, and I want to sit with you. And I said, well, I'll get you the best seats in the house, but I'm going to be sitting somewhere else. I can't do it. He goes, that's ridiculous. I'll have nothing of it. Now I'm sitting in the 4th row. Another unbelievable small miracle, right? Dreams do come true. You don't have to figure out how. It happens. So because of this incredible heart of this gentleman, this friend of ours, I was invited to a very special VIP party the evening before my party. And I would never have been invited without this, right? So the whole thing is crazy. Now, what am I going to wear? Back to fashion. What am I going to wear to wear this style icon? Like how? Well, so I went and I found this incredible dress and this old mansion, like just beautiful Spanish mansion down in Coral Gables. And it was just spectacular. And there we are in this limousine, you know, with the 6 of us. And they were all doing something. And I just walked into this little study by myself, just to kind of, and who walks in the door but Audrey Hepburn? I was like, oh my God, we're alone. I mean, how did that happen? And I opened my hands to her, you know, and she put her hands down on mine. And she grabbed me. She didn't know who I was. I mean, that I was doing anything, you know. She grabbed me, my hands, and she looked me up and down. I'll never forget this. And she looked me right in the eyes and said, you are so beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
I still have goosebumps. And it wasn't just, you know, we saw each other's soul.
Mm-hmm.
We met at that level.
Yeah.
And to have the person that you have modeled your life after. And then by the grace of God and a million serendipitous moments and synchronicities and universal attraction and good God, there we were together. And then the next night, I hosted my party, and we were together the entire evening. And it was just extraordinary. And we raised money for UNICEF, and she died not too long after that. That was in 1991. Mm-hmm. She had terrible cancer at that point. She didn't miss a beat. She stood there for 6 hours. Wow. So everything that you have heard about her graciousness, I can only tell you, it's so true. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's my story. Well, you know, the motto is dreams do come true if you have the courage to believe in them. And you don't have to figure out how they're going to come true. You just have to dream them and live your life every day in honoring what your passion is.
I love that.
Thank you. And she's a baby too.
You are very lovely.
Oh,
Very lovely.
She's lovely, and she's a very good party planner.
I bet she's a wonderful party planner. Ariel, do you have a story to tell us from your life?
come up here.
Maybe.
What's one story you would like to tell?
I would like to tell about.
Nice story.
I would like to tell a story about me and Nana, and me. I mean my mom. When we first I just want to do me and Nana, which is the story of Paris, when we went to Paris.
Oh, I'd love to hear.
So the first thing that happened that when we went on the plane, we had a nice time on the plane. We had a meal, we had water, we had all this things on the plane. When we arrived, I was so excited. Nana's girlfriend, Andrea, picked me and Nana up, and she had a nice car. She had a nice house. And then,
did we go see the Eiffel Tower?
yes, we did. We did see the Eiffel Tower. It was amazing. The bread over there was amazing.
So good.
The yogurt over there was amazing. It was all great.
What was one very favorite thing that happened?
My favorite thing that happened was when we went to the place of my dream.
Versailles?
Yes.
Versailles.
And when I went to Versailles, I felt like I was the queen.
I totally understand that.
She felt that she was Marie Antoinette, right? And we had a fantastic time. How about this Swan Lake, talking about dreams come true? Can you share your Swan Lake story? This is amazing.
I forgot all about that.
So Arielle wanted to dance Swan Lake. Like, this is her thing. And all she wanted to do in Paris was to see a production of Swan Lake. Well, guess what? Ain't happening. I couldn't find a production of Swan Lake to save my life. I mean, it was just not happening. So we were doing our thing at my girlfriend's house, and they had a boarder, like a lady and her husband that were there, like a bed and breakfast. You know, they have a beautiful spot. And it was her birthday. Sophie, it was her birthday. And so they invited us down to have cake and a little champagne. So Arielle and I joined them, and Arielle says, of course, oh, the one thing that I didn't get to do that I would like to do is
dance Swan Lake.
And what happened?
The girl's birthday was a ballerina.
And
what?
With me.
So what happened? I had the music on my phone.
Wow.
We were dancing.
They did the Swan Lake.
That is incredible.
Right? Her dream came true.
So, Ariel, how long have you been dancing?
So what?
How long have you been dancing?
I've been dancing for
a couple
of years since I was a baby as well.
So, do you want to show us a move on our way as we say goodbye? Do you want to show us something?
Okay.
We would love to see it.
I don't really want to dance right now, but I would like to sing.
Oh, okay. That would be just as good. So tell me what you're going to sing.
I'm going to sing Show Yourself. It's on my iPad.
Okay.
Nana can't get it. It's for free, though. I keep on telling her, but she can't find it.
I understand.
If you need technology, ask a child.
Agreed. So while you're finding that, Ariel, I just want to say to both of you,
I
thank
found it already.
Oh my goodness. Well, go ahead then.
What did you want to say before I play it?
I was just going to say that I thank you both so much for being here. You're both delightful. I hope that we have many, many more conversations together. And thank you for the panel. I can't wait to see it in person. And I will share all of the information about the auction as it starts coming out. And Mary, you're lovely. And I'm just so glad that we met. And
She is very lovely, and you are too.
Amen. And you are too.
Thank you.
Every inch of me is trembling, but not from the cold. Something is familiar, like a dream I could reach but not quite hold. I could sense you there, like a friend I've always known. I'm arriving, and it feels like I am home. I have always been a fortress, cold secrets deep inside. You have secrets too, but you don't have to hide. Show yourself, I'm dying to meet you. Show yourself, it's your turn. Are you the one you've been looking for all of my life? Show yourself, I'm ready to learn. I've never been so certain. All my life I've been torn, but I'm here for a reason. It could be the reason I was born. I've always been so different. No more rules did not apply. Is this the day? Are you the way? I finally find out why. Show yourself, I'm no longer trembling.